Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Athlete Podcast, brought to you by Sports for Champions. Danoush, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. So, for the people who might not be familiar with you or your sport, just tell us a little bit about you, how you got into wrestling.
So I started wrestling when I was 8 years old. I started it mainly because my granddad was actually a wrestler himself.
Oh, nice.
But he never made it to kind of Olympics or he never went international. He got third at his nationals once, that was in like his age category, school age category, and then he quit the sport quite young at a quite young age when he was about 20 odd. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my grandma about that. But yeah, basically, I just want to kind of finish what he started, and I really think that, I mean, I don't know if you believe in God or not, and it's fine, but I really think it's kind of like my destiny to like finish, or like my purpose to finish what he kind of started.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but I really feel like he would be very proud of me, and I feel like if he could see not only what I've become so far, but hopefully what I will become in the future, I feel like he would really be kind of proud and honored to, you know, yeah.
I think that's such a good way of looking at it. Is like I said, you're sort of carrying on, like passing on the baton, you're
Yeah,
taking it, and now trying to, exceed what your granddad's done,
exactly.
and go to hopefully, we're
More
looking at
than
Olympics, we're looking at Commonwealths, everything like that. So what was your earliest sort of memory of wrestling, of maybe going to a training, or what was it for you?
So I remember the first session I had, it was in Manchester, and I remember as soon as I walked into the wrestling room, all I saw was like guys 20 times the size of me, and everyone was just absolutely sweaty and tired and like out of breath and absolutely dead. And I remember after like because it was like they had different sessions on, and one of the sessions ended and then the kids session started. And I remember when I went to the first session, I remember as part in wrestling training sessions, normally more or less every single session there'll be some live sparring matches at the end. And I remember for the first kind of like few months, I got absolutely thrown about the map. Like you can just if you walk and you just see me getting thrown from this side of the sports hall to the other side of the sports hall, like, and they were just playing with me, and I was being absolutely thrown about. And then I remember after I got home on my dad, I think he expected me to kind of quit on the first day, and because it was in Manchester and that's like 45 minutes away from my house,
Yeah.
um he kind of like he wanted me to become a wrestler, but he didn't want to drive like all that
Yeah.
distance. So I think he was kind of like expecting and wanting me to kind of say like, wrestling isn't for me. And because I did get brutally, absolutely thrown about, and I got home and I told my dad, I'm gonna beat everyone in that gym. And I went back the next week and the week after and the week after, and until finally I became the best in the gym. And then I said, okay, I want to go to a competition now. And 1 year after I started, I had my first competition. It was the Derbyshire Open under 12s, and it was just like a local tournament. And I had 5 matches, and I came second.
Yep.
And I remember first match I win, second match I won, and I kept winning and winning. And me and my dad were both shocked. Like only 1 year, and I mean it wasn't like a overly like good tournament or anything, but it was
Yeah.
like a decent beginner tournament. And I remember I came second, and in the finals I lost in about less than a minute. Like
Oh, really?
yeah, like the difference was just that much.
Yeah.
And after that I said I'm gonna beat him. And the British Championships was 2 months later, and I went to that and I lost all my matches, and I lost to him again as well.
Yeah.
And then I said that's fine, I'm gonna train harder and I'm gonna come back. And then I came back about 3-4 months later, and I beat not only that boy, but I became the English champion, and I beat everyone in my weight category and age category in England, and then it started from there.
Brilliant. So just go back to when you first started training. Obviously, you mentioned how you just get thrown around,
Yeah,
and I feel like that's a good story about sort of like resiliency, because there's a lot of people who, not only just children, but a lot of people in general who would have went to a session, got thrown around like you said, and then went, oh yeah, it's not for
no,
me, I'll just leave it. How did you manage to keep going back every week, or when you lost in the competitions, to say, not get disheartened and quit,
yeah.
and instead say, no, actually I'm going to beat them next time we face off?
I think it was when I was younger. I think it kind of changed over time, but when I was younger and I first started, it was just that that feeling when you feel like you've kind of you just you do your best, but you're really like, there's such a big difference, and it just kind of annoys you that
Yeah,
you're like, is this really how many levels there are to this? And I think I've always just wanted to as I said, I just kept in mind, I want to become like my granddad.
yeah,
And always at the beginning especially, that is what kept me through it. And I wanted to say, um my granddad's gone through the same, more or less.
yeah,
He's obviously had his first session. He's obviously got thrown about at times, came back, and it is a very mentally demanding sport, especially as you get higher levels. Like, when you're competing in the world championships, European, when you lose, it does take a toll. But I think just reminding myself every day why I started in the first place. I think your why has to be kind of your biggest reason. And at the end of the day, it is my dream to become an Olympic champion. And every day, there's been times when I've gone home from training or from a competition, and I've just cried my eyes out in the shower. Just every athlete, every wrestler will know this feeling. It's either after you've lost your eighth tournament in a row, or when you've gone to training and you've had sparring matches and you've just lost to everyone, and you feel like kind of like a writer's block, but like an athlete's block. You
yeah,
feel like you're not getting anywhere. You've, every time you've gone to a competition, you've gone home, you've said, okay, I've lost, I'm going to train harder and I'm going to come back. You train harder, you sacrifice everything, clean diet, don't go out with your mates as much, everything. You just make wrestling your priority. You go back and you lose again.
yeah,
I mean, it's just life, it is what it is, but I think if you persevere, if you really persevere, and if you truly never give up, and if you have a reason of why, and if you don't let anyone kind of like, if you always keep pushing forward, you know, even if you fall 100 times, the 101st time, you might make it.
yeah,
It's like that thing, like, I've heard somewhere, it's like, if you was only like 100 failed attempts away from your dream, how like excited and how happy would you be to fail again and
yeah,
again?
again.
It's just, you have to keep going and keep going. And there will be times when, like I said, you go home, you cry, you feel like nothing's working. But if you keep going, day by day, it will get better, and you'll get there 100%. If you never give up, and even if you do never get there, even if you do really, you fail at your dream. If I never become an Olympic champion, which is everything I want, it's my life purpose to become an Olympic champion, and I truly believe that. But even if I don't, what better way to live your life than to, fail in attempting the great and impossible? It's
Yeah,
like,
trying for your dream.
just
Yeah,
literally trying for something that only your dream is the most personal thing you have in yourself. Nobody else can tell you no. Nobody else can take that dream away from you. As long as you hold it dearly, and you review it and look at it every day, I really feel like it's very, no one can take that from you. It's always yours. Even if you never achieve it, the fact that you've tried your best, and you don't say like, what if I could have done this, what if I could have done that, having no regrets, like putting all your eggs into one dream, like all your eggs into one basket, following that one dream. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But at least I can say, proudly, like I can say I've tried my very best to achieve my dream, and it's just not happened. But you know, it was worth it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I would rather fail in trying to achieve my dream than to just not try at all and
Yeah.
settle for kind of less.
Yeah, there's that saying, isn't there? It's like it's not so much about the destination, but about the journeys to get there.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that's great advice. Obviously, and it's for people can take that into everything that they do as well. Everyone's got a dream, everyone's got something that they want to do,
yeah,
and if you can at least try, and
yeah.
like I said, you might not get there, but if you do, brilliant. If you
Exactly.
don't, but you've enjoyed the way, you
And
know.
yeah, the people you meet as well.
Exactly. Talking about people that you meet, who've been the biggest role models for you in your sport, or you've had any mentors, coaches that have really helped you along the way?
To be honest, I think my father is my mother and my father, I'd say, my parents are my biggest role models. My father never did wrestling. However, in life, he's always, persevered and always he's always been there for me, and he's shown me, like, always, finish what you started. He always says that to me, whatever I do, he always says, finish what you started. And he's pushed through so much, and he's really, there's been times where financially or any kind of problem, we've not been the best, but he's always pulled through for me and my mother. And at the same time, on the other side of things, my mother always, you know, every aspect of my life, my mother has always been there for me and always helped me. And in terms of, persevering and stuff like this, my parents, I'd say, definitely the biggest role models
Yeah,
for me
absolutely.
personally.
Yeah, I think obviously, when it comes to parents and things, it's good to have parents who believe in your dream as well, because you do see somewhere with athletes, where they're kind of pushing them towards a certain path. And obviously, you mentioned that your father doesn't do wrestling,
Yeah.
but he's still happy to support you
Yeah.
going that way. So now we'll talk a little bit about training, because we were speaking a little bit before,
Yeah.
off camera, about how many times you train a week,
Mm.
and it's crazy. The amount of sessions that you're doing, the amount of time that you spend in the gym. So what does a usual training week look like for you in terms of how many times, what's roughly involved in each one of those?
So normally it'd be about 10 to 14 times.
A
So
week.
a week,
Yeah,
10 to 14
crazy.
times a week.
Yeah.
So normally it would be 2 sessions a day. It would be one kind of in the morning. I'd either do a cardio session or a weight session. In the cardio session, if I was to choose a cardio session, what I'd do is normally, like, every week I'll do, like, for example, if I have 3 cardio sessions and 3 weight sessions in the morning layout of the
Yeah.
week. For the 3 cardio sessions, I do one maybe 10 kilometer run,
Right.
one like hill sprints, but like, even though it's not cardio, it is, because it's like, I'll do like 30 hill sprints, but it'll take me like 2 hours, and I'll be out of breath.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
yeah. And then for my third one, I'll do like a 5 to 8 kilometer run. And then for my weight training, what I'll do is every weight training I do is full body.
All right. So you're not splitting up into
I
different
don't
muscle
split,
groups or
yeah.
anything like that.
Or I only do full body, but it's very I wouldn't do like kind of normal gym exercises which you would imagine. Like, I do kind of more mobility, wrestling based kind of. You'll see on TikTok and stuff, the MMA fighters and wrestlers, what they'll do in the gym. They'll do like low weight but like high reps and
Yeah.
extremely fast. And you can see, like, sometimes you'll see kind of wrestlers and MMA fighters in the gym, and you'll be like, their form is shocking. Like, what are they doing? But it actually, like for example, you'll be doing bicep curls and you're just going, and the form is awful. But it's not about the form; it's more about the kind of conditioning your muscles, endurance based.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of what I do in the weight. And then the other kind of evening sessions, the 6 evening sessions per week, would be mat training.
Yep.
And every single session is basically the same. It's like a half an hour warm up, which is intense. And then after that, you'll do about 20, 25, 30 minutes of technique. And after that, you'll do about 40 minutes of sparring, and then maybe 20 minutes of like conditioning after the sparring. For example, they'll get you to do like what we call suicides, which is basically where it's like you've got kind of the mat and then you run kind of halfway and then back and then all the way and then back and then you just kind of do that.
Yeah, not good.
After sparring, it's
So that is like just finishing you off.
that is literally finishing you off.
Getting you ready for the next day.
Exactly.
So in terms of, I know you mentioned there you do more sport specific weight training rather than just usual. Like if you walked into a gym across the UK, you'd see people doing the same 15 things. So what's your sort of favorite exercise to do in terms of strength training? Maybe one that is sport specific. So are there any that you go, actually when I do this, it helps me massively when I'm actually competing?
I'd say for wrestling, basically there's these like the like elastic bands that you kind of tie to somewhere and then you kind of like pull it like to each side. I think this will help the most with my wrestling, purely because I mean it depends on your style. For example, some wrestlers my style is very like heavy snaps, so I like to hit them on the head a lot. But other wrestlers will have different styles where obviously different exercises will help them to get stronger in that specific area. But for me, because I'm a very kind of aggressive and very physically like aggressive, like all the time hitting their heads, I'd say the elastic for your hands, it'll make your endurance like good. Like 6 minutes of wrestling is very hard. And especially if 6 minutes you're trying to like hit them on the head for 6 minutes, your hands will get lactic acid and it will be dead. And you do this exercise, and I think for my style it helps them.
That's the one that helps you out the most. So in terms of your training when you've got a competition coming up, when do you start? Because I'd imagine you start to like ramp it down, or in the obviously in the couple of weeks before you're slowing down a little bit to make sure you're in the best physical condition. How does that look? Are you dropping sessions? Are you doing the same amount of sessions but just lowering the intensity or the time? How does it sort of look? Say we're a week out from a competition.
So to be honest, normally I'll be cutting weight for a competition.
Yeah, that's something that I want to talk about a little bit later on as well. Actually, we'll talk about it now. Cutting weight, because obviously that's something in a lot of wrestling and combat sports. You see a lot of people who are cutting weight, and essentially it's so that they can be as big as possible in the smallest weight class to try and have the biggest advantage. Some companies, some different sports have sort of outlawed it. I think as it ONE FC and MMA, they basically do hydration tests, so you can't really cut weight because it essentially from what I know about it, it decreases the amount of liquid around the brain. Brain injury is more common, so they want people to stop doing it, and it can be dangerous if not done properly. 100%. When it comes to cutting weight, how much weight do you tend to cut from like walking weight down to competing?
So, one thing you should know about wrestling cutting is completely different to MMA and boxing and stuff. So in MMA, the weigh-in is normally 24 hours
before the event.
In wrestling, it's only about 2 hours before the event.
Right, so you've got to get to a weight that you're comfortable wrestling at, but still low.
Exactly. Right. So, for example, you'd weigh in at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then you'll fight. You'll have your first match. You'll have 5 matches throughout a day, 4 to 5 normally. And your first match would be at about 10:30. So, you have about 2.5 hours to refuel, rehydrate. It's not a long time though. And the thing with this is it has no room for error. It's very, very crucial that you don't kind of mess this up. not only because it will affect your performance, but because it will affect your health as well.
Yeah.
You know, in MMA, you have a long time. You have 24 hours to kind of refuel, and you can safely put
It's
on
sleep as well.
sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can safely refuel and rehydrate in that time. 2 hours is not enough.
No.
So you can't be cutting 10 kg for a, and then, because even if you do cut 10 kg, you're not putting 10 kg back on in 2 hours. Maybe in one day, if it's like all water weight and maybe a tiny bit of like other things, you can put on maybe 6 kilos of water weight in a day.
Yeah.
But you can't do that in 2 hours. And if you do that after the match, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it all. What I do, I personally walk around at about 62, 63 kilos. Last year I fought at 61 kilos, and that is normally what I would want to do. However, in the Olympics, there is half the amount of weight categories than the European and World Championships.
Right.
And in the Olympics, it goes like 57, 65,
Oh,
74,
so it's a big jump.
every kind of 10 kilos.
Yeah.
And because of this, and the qualification is next year, obviously, so I kind of had to pick my weight now and kind
So
of
whether go up or go
go
down.
down.
Yeah.
I tried to go up to 65 and I ate a lot, but I think my body wouldn't go up. The max I got to whilst I was like bulking heavy was about 64.
Yeah.
And I can't be fighting at 65 because everyone else is cutting down from 69.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
So you're going up to meet people that are coming
yeah,
down.
and I have fought in 71 kilos before, and I weighed in at 62.5, and I fought at 71
Yeah.
in Germany Bundesliga.
Yeah.
And I have tried, and it maybe it's genetics, but yeah, as of right now, I can't bulk up to 65. So I am cutting to 57 for kind of all my tournaments now. So 62, 63 to 57. Sometimes there's a weight allowance. Like for example, I had a tournament in France 2 days ago, and it was 57 plus 2, so 59.
Yeah.
And I started at about 63, so I cut 4 kilos for that comp. And it was actually, as long as you do it within about 4 kilos, I personally took 3 weeks to do it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't leave it for the last kind of 2-3 days, it is safe. As long as what I do is I do a calorie deficit. I don't do kind of water cutting. I don't do these things because, one, I'm not experienced with it enough.
Yeah.
2, I'm 18. My body's not kind of, I don't want to burn out.
No.
I don't want to have any future health problems because of my weight cuts.
Yeah.
I'm still, my body is still growing.
Yeah.
I think I'll have a few more years left of kind of my body growing. And 3, because it does affect your performance, water loading, and there's loads of different kind of methods. What I do is I simply do a calorie deficit. So my calorie maintenance, if I have 2,007 to 2,800 calories a day, I will maintain my weight.
Yeah.
And that is purely because of how often I train.
Yeah.
Because I'm burning a lot of calories. So if I was to cut 1.5 kg per week, I would need to be having about 2,000 calories a day, 2,200.
And continue with your current exercise.
And continue with my current exercise. And yeah, I'd have about 1,700 to 2,000 a day to cut about 1.5 kilos a week. And do this for about 2 weeks before, and you've cut 3 kilos.
Yeah, and that's a safer way of doing it.
I think it's a safer way because as long as you still have, what people do, and this is a big mistake, they cut out their carbs, they cut out their sugars, they cut out, they think, oh, I'm cutting weight, I shouldn't have carbs, I shouldn't have sugars, no, have loads of carbs, have loads of, as long as you have healthy foods, when it comes to calories, you can have a 400 calorie meal of like pasta and like chickpeas and like nice solid foods.
Yeah.
And it's actually big. Like you can have a big plate, 400 calories, or you can have one small donut for 400 calories.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and
Volume, isn't it?
it's volume. You two 1,700 calories. Even though my day to day I'm having 2,700 to like kind of maintain. Even if I am in a 1,000 calorie deficit, as long as I am having healthy foods, I can eat a lot.
Yeah.
But you have to have your carbs, you have to have your sugars, you have to have some sweet treats. Just because you're cutting weight doesn't mean you shouldn't have any Haribos, you shouldn't have any, you have to, you can't not do it, because then once you finish the competition, you're going to have a few days where you eat everything.
Yeah, and
it's going to be detrimental to not only your weight, but your health as well. Your body's not made to like kind of not have kind of any carbs and sugars for so long and then suddenly have loads in the space of a few. It's not healthy.
It's like obviously Paddy Pimblett, isn't it? He does the exact same thing where he yo-yos.
Yeah.
Obviously he's got a fight coming up as of record. I think it's this weekend. And then he usually does put on, but he puts on like 2 stone, like after fights.
I mean, each for their own, but I definitely would not advise it at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly,
it's working for him somehow. I can't imagine it's easy for him.
No, because we've seen other people do it. People like Ricky Hatton used to do it years ago, and even I think he got to a point at the end of his career where he was like, I shouldn't really be doing that. So, have you faced any major setbacks so far, whether that be injury, or I know you mentioned before about that tough few months, year or so of starting. What's been the biggest sort of setback for you at the moment?
So far, touch wood, I've never had any major injuries.
Yep, very good.
However, I'd say there's been times where I've lost in Europeans Worlds, and you didn't get the result you wanted. You've trained so hard, you've sacrificed so much, and you've fallen short again. And, just having to come back from that, For example, let me ask you now. As like a spectator, you've probably watched some kind of... You know something about MMA, boxing, wrestling. How many losses does like an average guy have?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? You always think of when you've asked me that, straight away my mind went to Floyd Mayweather, undefeated, Khabib, undefeated, John Jones, technically undefeated. He's got one, he didn't lose. But in actual fact, they're all, apart from those handful, everyone else is losing 5-6 times.
Exactly.
Easy, minimal.
But now I'll tell you something. So on average, in MMA, in boxing, an average career, like a professional career, 10 times loss,
Crazy.
Wrestling, because it's tournament based, it's like you'll have a lot of tournaments. For example, I've just had one 2 days ago. I've had 4 matches. In that one tournament that I had a few days ago, I lost 3 matches and I won 1.
Yeah. So
and that was in one tournament, not one day. So in one day, I put 3 losses on my belt. Yeah. In a year, I'll put about 100 losses.
Really?
In my career, I've probably had between 500 losses. I've had about 500 losses in my career.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because of the nature of wrestling. It's competition based. There's not really single fights. It's more, 5 matches one day and...
winner takes all sort of thing.
Yeah, and you're going to have... If you're doing it professionally, you're going to have quite a few competitions a year. And there's wrestlers. There's one wrestler called Alexander Karelin. He's like the most kind of famous historical wrestler. He's a Greco wrestler. He's had 2 losses in his whole career.
Wow.
And 800 and something wins. Crazy.
Wow.
I'm 18 and I've had about 500 losses.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I mean, so if you go back to it, two losses.
Yeah, and 800 and something wins.
That's incredible. So who were the 2 that beat him?
His first and last match. I don't know who
really?
Crazy. His first one, I don't know who it was. His last match was like some American guy. There's like a documentary, but it's cool. It's But most wrestlers, on average, like professional wrestlers, if you look at the Olympics, they have about I want to say about, in their career, they have maybe 50 losses. So 20 to 50.
Yeah.
And that's like the top level wrestlers.
Elite level.
Elite level,
best of
20
the
to
best.
50.
Yeah.
And that's like from when they start kind of the European track. Obviously, when you're 8, 9 years old, you're gonna have, but you don't count the.
Yeah, obviously.
What you start to count is when you kind of start that first continental championships. That's when you start to count your losses and wins. Like,
Yeah.
on average, obviously, I don't have a specific number of how many times I've won or lost. In every kind of thing, it's different. But yeah, I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot.
Yes.
More than I'm a special case. I've lost more than 90% of other wrestlers, I'd say.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot. But I don't let that get to me. I mean, I think after a while, some people say, you get used to losing. Some people say it's like a mental thing. Like, but for me, every time I lose, I work harder, and I will really. Even now, I got back 2 days ago from France. I had a tournament, 3 losses, 1 win, and I am now. Before I was training maybe again 10 to 14 times a week. Now I'm gonna do an extra session per week. I'm gonna do 2 extra sessions. I'm gonna make the intensity even harder than it was before.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep pushing limits until I finally make it. And I mean, even though I've had that many losses, you probably think I'm an awful wrestler. I'm 5th in the world under 17.
That's what I mean,
I'm not the worst. You know.
No, we'll just rattle off some of your achievements.
Yeah.
So 7-time British champion, 6-time English champion, currently ranked 5th in the world in the under 17s, 9th in the world in the under 20s, and also a member of the senior Team GB squad as well. So
I'm not. Yeah. When you say I've had like a few hundred losses, it sounds bad.
Yeah.
But the results, the thing with me is I've never backed away from a competition. I've never been scared. A lot of wrestlers and athletes in general, they pick and choose when they fight, who they fight,
Absolutely.
which competition they go to. For me, I've just been signed for a League One team in Bundesliga. I've had my debut this year. I'm the first and only British wrestler in history to fight in Bundesliga 1, which is quite a big achievement, I'd say. But I've had 9 matches, I think, in Bundesliga this year, and I've won 1.
Yeah.
I've lost 8. And that's my record for Bundesliga. 8 losses, 1 win. However, what people don't see is, for example, I weigh 62 kilos. In the Bundesliga, I fought 4 matches at 71 kilos.
Oh.
And I fought 5 matches at 66 kilos.
Yeah, so you're fighting well above your weight.
I'm fighting above my weight. 90%, 99% of people, I've been told by coaches, by people around me, like, are you crazy? Why are you accepting fights that are 10 kilos?
Yeah.
And bear in mind, they're cutting from 76, 77 kilos.
Exactly.
They're and the Bundesliga 1 is a very, it's one of the top wrestling leagues in the world. For example, in one of my fights I had a month or 2 ago against the Olympic champion from Japan.
Wow.
Every match in Bundesliga 1, you're fighting a world or Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
Or someone.
There's no easy fight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I still said, you know what? I'm gonna fight 71 kilos. The guy for our team was injured at 71, which is why I stepped up. But nobody else, I think, would choose to do that because I basically had a 0.1% chance of winning because 15 at the day there's 15 kilo difference.
Yeah.
I'm 62, fighting 71. They're about 74, 75 at this point because they've cut weight, and they're a senior world or Olympic medalist or something. But I think I actually like the challenge, and I like I'm addicted to kind of doing like the impossible. Anytime there's something kind of impossible and someone it literally, if I tell you I'm 62 kilos fighting the Olympic champion in 2 weights above me, and I'm not even ranked in seniors, you're gonna be like, well, it's impossible you're gonna win. and you're gonna be like, he's gonna beat you in less than 30 seconds. But I went out there and I did my best and I survived the first round, and it was only 2-0 to him, so it wasn't even like a
Yeah, I think it's one of them, isn't it? You either win or you learn, and
exactly.
you
But I
get
think
better.
for me, I think I've lost more than 90% of other people in their career, and I've basically just started my career.
Yeah,
But I think to push through these losses, and every time I lose, it does break me to a literal breaking point. And there's been 100 times where I've wanted to quit. There's been 100 times where, even a few days ago, I lost in France. 3 matches I lost. I came home and I remember, even after the tournament, I went back to my hotel and I spent about 2 hours. I'm 18 years old.
yeah,
I spent 2 hours crying my eyes out in the hotel room,
yeah.
and it was hard. But I think pushing through and telling yourself, no matter what, I'm gonna start what I finished. I'm gonna start what my granddad finished, and all of these losses, all of this, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna lose every single match until I'm 24, 25, 26. But then it will start coming, and I truly believe the wins will start coming.
All these reps that you've
I'll,
had in.
I'll even when I first started, I lose, I win. I lose, I lose, I win, the gap gets smaller and smaller.
Exactly.
You start to win more and more and more, and then you lose maybe once a year.
Exactly. I think that's the way to do it.
It's pushing through the losses. Every time you lose, it's gonna hurt more than the last. It doesn't get easier. People say, after you've lost your 100th time, surely it gets easier. Or surely, at this point, it's not for you. Just choose a different sport, mate.
Yeah.
Surely, you've lost this many times. Just do something else. But no, I'll keep pushing and I'll keep trying, and no matter what, I truly believe I will become Olympic champion. There is no kind of alternate universe, alternate kind of thing. You get one life, you use it, and I will become Olympic champion. It's just a matter of time.
Brilliant. To be honest, I think we were going to end it there, but we've got some quick fire questions for you. So it's just this or that, 'cause I think that was a great way to end it. Do you have one quick question about wrestling overall? Well, two actually. Do you, if you were in charge of the world wrestling and entertainment, you're Vince McMahon now, but if you were in charge of the sport of wrestling and the governing body, and you could change one rule, what rule would you change? Or what one thing would you change as well? Maybe not just the rule.
I'd say the problem with wrestling is it's such a hard sport and it's such a beautiful sport. But the problem is, for example, with UFC, there's a lot of money in it. There's a lot of in wrestling. There's not a lot of money. The people who do wrestling, they do it for honor. They do it for, as you've probably seen the TikTok edits of Dagestan and these things. But it's I'm not joking. They do wrestling purely because they want to carry their family name, and for them it really is. Elite athletes in wrestling, they don't do it for money. They do it for the honor, the feeling you get when you win. It's not like any other sport, and the people in wrestling are different to people in any other sport because we don't do it for money. There is no money to do it for.
That's why you sort of see them move into
exactly.
MMA
If I become a world champion, I'll go home. In terms of money, I'll get close to nothing. And literally, I'll get nothing. But in terms of the medal, that medal around your neck,
the pride.
It's
legacy.
a plastic medal, but it's the fact, your name, the pride, the family name. But what I would change is I'd make it I'd try to put kind of more money into it and more kind of advertisement, kind of like UFC, how they have a company, and like this. I'd kind of do that for wrestling, and I'd try to put more kind of show fights on and maybe instead of having tournaments, make it like kind of one match thing.
Yeah.
Because like in a tournament, you're having 5 matches in one day, and you could lose to someone who's worse than you purely because of it's your third, fourth match. You're tired.
You've had 3 tough matches.
Exactly.
They might have lost
And
in the first round 3 times.
Exactly, and it's about brackets as well. So
I think it's one of them where I'm surprised somebody like the UFC, because obviously if you go through and look at the champions, especially in the last 5-10 years in the UFC, it's very wrestling heavy. As like you look at people like Islam, everyone like that, Khabib, you just come in and
DC,
and it looked at it. I mean, DC, even John Jones. Though. Obviously, he didn't do he done wrestling in college. I think he went to like a JUCO college in America.
And the fact he wasn't even like a national champion either.
Yeah,
he was
crazy. Like, and then he went in against DC in the first fight and said, "I'm just going to take you down." And that was his whole thing: is I'm going to out wrestle the wrestler. I think that's just John Jones and just how good he is.
He's in MMA, he's crazy.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. But again, very wrestling based, and I think that helps in terms of everything else that they do because it limits such a big thing of, all right, well, if you're better than me standing up, I'll take you down. But you can't take people like Khabib down. You can't take people like DC. Well, let's judge.
Well,
yeah. But yeah, just talking in terms of like money put into the sport, I'm surprised somebody like the UFC hasn't partnered with a wrestling company or a wrestling governing body and saying, we'll help put on the event, we'll get some eyeballs and build stars up before they even come to the UFC.
I think the thing is, wrestling is very misunderstood in England, especially.
Yeah.
In like Russia, everyone knows wrestling.
Yeah, Eastern Europe is huge, isn't it?
Massive. They do it in everywhere, in schools, everywhere. In America, they do it in college, which is why most of these UFC fighters, American ones, John Jones, DC, they've done it in college.
Ben Askren as well.
Yeah, Ben Askren,
great wrestler.
Yeah, he is. They've all done it in college and they've done it. But in England, wrestling isn't very. When I tell people I do wrestling, automatically, oh, you do WWE, that's so cool. I used to watch John Cena. I used to watch, mate. I do Olympic wrestling. I'm not acting. It's like I'm really doing it. Like these bruises on my face isn't from a script. It's like I'm really wrestle. Like I'm doing the real deal. And they're like, wait, so what do you do? Do you just like grapple with sweaty men? Like that sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Like, mate, it's so different. It's like, mate, it's completely. It's so misunderstood in England and no one really knows what it is, but I really want to hopefully change that. And I think a big reason is because England, we have no European or world medals in wrestling. We have no wrestler that's famous
like
in England.
Role models.
We have none. We have nothing. Like even if you ask an English person like who's your role model, a wrestler, they'll say someone from another country because we don't have one from our own.
Yeah.
If you ask someone in England like a boxer or a judo player, who's your biggest role model in judo or boxing, 99% they're gonna say someone from England.
Yeah.
Purely because they're following the same kind of system.
The pathways all same.
But for me, I'm literally having to do like all of it like from scratch, like
for the first time. Yeah.
And the thing is, the budget for British Wrestling Federation is very low as well. Yeah. So it's we don't have kind of the facilities that Russia and America do. We don't have the money that they do. So it is hard. But I want to try my hardest to like kind of change the perception of wrestling for kids and for people in England because a lot of people really don't understand it.
Yeah, and it's a good time with the Olympics coming up as well.
Exactly.
Hopefully get a run and just go from there.
Exactly.
Other question when we talk about this before we finish off. Hypothetically, let's just say touch wood. Hopefully, you achieve the dream. Yeah. You get the Olympic medal in either 2028, 2032, whatever it is. Any interest in moving into an MMA sort of side of it, or is that not for you?
It's not out of the picture.
Yeah.
However, I've done a few interclub MMA fights before.
Yeah.
I liked it to an extent. However, wrestling for me, the love for wrestling is something else. But the thing is, in wrestling, the time when you retire is the time when you just start kind of getting good in MMA. So like in wrestling, you retire because of how physically demanding it is. you can't be doing wrestling above the age of about 30. Like, you'll get the one or two exceptions, but after the age of 30, you are finished in wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
your body just can't do what, like, you have to be very, very athletic, very fit to do wrestling. And people don't understand how hard wrestling really is.
Especially when there's like, I'd imagine it goes in like Olympic cycles as well. So
Exactly.
you finish off with one Olympics, you've 4 years now until the next. So if
Exactly.
you are 29, 30, you've got to wait till your mid 30s.
Exactly. And yeah, people normally retire at around 28, 29 in wrestling purely because of how physically demanding it is.
Yeah.
But maybe once I retire in wrestling, that's what a lot of like DC, he went to the Olympics for wrestling, he retired and then he went to MMA.
Yeah.
You've got Henry Cejudo or something like that.
Yeah.
He also
did he win? I think he won 2 Olympic.
he did good in the Olympics and then retired, went to MMA. A lot of wrestlers.
Yeah, there's loads, isn't there?
Yeah, they retire and then they go to MMA, or they don't make it in wrestling and then they go to MMA and they make it.
Yeah.
A lot of wrestlers, they do this as well. But I think in terms of MMA stage, for now, I want to achieve my dream of becoming an Olympic champion, and nothing is going to get in my way of that. No MMA, nothing. Tunnel vision, Olympic champion. Once I've achieved Olympic champion, I might go into
Then you
MMA.
might see what happens.
I might, yeah. I might dabble in a bit of this and that.
Yeah,
try new things.
Sort of see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, make some money as well. You know?
Exactly. There's no in wrestling, so I might as well.
Find your own money.
Yeah.
Okay, so a few this or that's very quick. Early morning training or late night sessions?
Late night session.
Late night. Technique focused drills or live wrestling?
Live wrestling.
Easy. Is that easy for you?
Easy live wrestling.
Offensive wrestling or defensive control?
I'd say a mix of both. I really can't.
That's a
mix.
cop
You need to be you need to be tactical.
You
It's
need
like
to know what you're doing.
you need to know, like, maybe start off offensive and then get a solid lead by 2-3 points and then start defending towards the end.
Very good. Win by points or win by pin?
I'd say win by pin.
Yeah.
It's the more dominant one.
Yeah,
you got to.
It's like knockout.
Yeah.
Music before matches or silenced and focused?
Music before match.
Yeah, it's got to be what's on the playlist. Anything at the moment?
I'd probably say like a lot of like wrestlers, they listen to like, or like fighters, they listen to like rap or
Yeah.
I actually this is very controversial, and I'd appreciate if you don't judge. But I'd actually say like Lana Del Rey, Billie Eilish.
All right.
It actually calms me down before the fight.
It just
like,
chills you out a bit.
Yeah, like it gets my nerves down a bit. But yeah.
So your opponent sat there listening to some heavy metal.
Like Drake or like heavy metal or something, and I'm there like Billie Eilish, like depressing, like.
What else? Oh right, okay. So final question: coaching in the future or staying close to competitions?
I'd say I probably wouldn't coach unless my child would go towards it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't coach. No.
You know, you've done the time.
I've done it. Yeah, I've done. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Danoush, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for
what's next for you? When's your next competition? How can the viewers sort of keep track on your career?
I mean, next week I've got the English Championships, and then obviously this year I've got the European and World under 20 and under 23s.
Okay.
But as I said, 2028 Olympics. Hopefully, that's a main goal.
Brilliant. Right, thank you very much for your time, and yeah, looking forward to having you head into schools.
Thank you.
If you would like to book for Danoush to come into any of your schools, there's a link in the description, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.